You're on Channel Africa. My name is Kurt Williams. Today on the program, we are featuring the Black Umbrella, a partner entity of the Cyril Ramaphosa Foundation. Now, to talk to us about what they are doing and all about women empowerment in the business sphere, entrepreneurial, we are joined on the line by Thina Hlophe. She is the Stakeholder Engagement Manager at Black Umbrella, a partner entity of the Cyril Ramaphosa Foundation. Thina, thank you for your time and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Kurt.
It's an absolute pleasure having you, Thina. So first of all, give us an idea of what your job entails at the Black Umbrella as a Stakeholder Engagement Manager. What are you doing?
Okay, sure. So I'm the Stakeholder Engagement Manager at Black Umbrella. As you mentioned, Black Umbrella is a partner entity to the Cyril Ramaphosa Foundation. And I basically head fundraising, marketing, communications, as well as stakeholder engagement.
Oh, okay. So you're dealing with all the corporates. You're the one who collecting all the funds.
Pretty much.
No, great stuff, Thina. It's a wonderful thing that you are doing there. You guys are always doing great stuff, man. So it's always exciting talking to you. Last week, Tuesday, on the 8th, of March, it was the World Commemorating International Women's Day. What we want to know as a woman from you, why is a day like this important?
I think it's really important because it actually allows us to focus on, the structural disadvantages that women, not only nationally, but, globally experience, and to recommit to overcoming them. So women suffer from, experience GBV, inequality of opportunity, discrimination, lack of access to education, high poverty rates, and much more. And a day like International Women's Day, it actually helps us raise consciousness about the position of women and mobilization for, necessary action that has to take place.
Wow. And then research on female entrepreneurs. Let's come to female entrepreneurs. I know it's also one of your, highlights in your endeavors. In South Africa, they say female entrepreneurs research is limited. Why is research on female entrepreneurs so limited? And what kind of research do we need about female entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I think it's an example of the way in which society may render women and their needs and achievements quite invisible. And it is a factor of exclusion and disadvantage that women actually experience. But I think there are programs that have been quite committed to supporting women entrepreneurs, and they do research and undertake, monitoring and evaluations related to aspects of women to such programs and their performance needs, right? So in our case, as Black Umbrellas, we have a recorded near equal rate of participation and retention in the program by women-owned businesses as men. And this speaks highly to the innate capacities and merits of women, because when you look at the incubation program and the selection process, it actually focuses on the talents and the abilities of the owner, the viability of the venture, and the intent to actually grow a sustainable business, and also the fact that it has to be able to pay a decent income and, importantly, also create jobs. So from our experiential research, it has shown that these capabilities do exist of women.
Okay. Thina, just to recap a little bit on Black Umbrella for our listeners who are not familiar or who would like to have more information, just remind us again, what is Black Umbrella doing? So
Black Umbrella is a enterprise development incubation program, and we focus on developing SMEs to a point that they are sustainable and scalable enterprises, and we provide not only business incubation, but how do we support SMEs through facilitating access to markets and access to finance.
Okay. And how long is the incubating program?
So the program is actually broken into developmental phases. We've got the application and selection process, following which we have the business foundation phase, which is over 3 months. And next to that, we have the business readiness phase, which is over a duration of 9 months, and the accelerator program, which is quite ongoing. So I'd say, from a developmental point of view, 12 months would be from foundation and readiness, and then ongoing would be the accelerator program.
Okay. What does the accelerator program do?
So the accelerator program is providing market access to SMEs. So, when you go back to the readiness phase, it actually facilitates opportunities for market readiness, being funding ready, being procurement ready, etc., and also business coach. And then once they move on to the accelerator program, that's where access to markets in terms of procurement opportunities, as well as access to finance. We've got a debt fund that we're in the process of capacity, getting up and running. And then we have our payment accelerator, which is the Black Umbrellas Payment Accelerator, which is around access to
the market.
The payment accelerator is it's to provide invoice financing for SMEs.
Okay. And one thing that is always that was always puzzling me, that I always wanted to know, Thina, were these incubating programs. You find there is sometimes business owners or entrepreneurs who already have started their own businesses. However, they are still in need of people like yourself, like people like Black Umbrella, just to take them from where they are, like you said, perhaps through that accelerating program. Are you still open to such people, or what do you guys do normally with such kind of people?
No, we're open. We have an application process. They can go onto our website and apply to be on the program. So we don't have a particular open and closed date in terms of taking in applications, but they are more than happy to go onto the website and apply.
Okay, great stuff. No, thank you for giving us that information. Now, Thina, one thing that I also want to know from you when it comes to women entrepreneurs, to be an entrepreneur in itself is difficult. In your view, is it more difficult to be a woman entrepreneur in South Africa?
I think, at the get-go, women and men have been socialized, into traditional gender roles. So generations of struggle have achieved quite significant gains for women to participate in the mainstream economy. And to be an entrepreneur is challenging. We can't dispel the fact that it's actually challenging for both women and men. But women experience all the more difficulties, and many economic sectors are male-dominated still. And it's hard for women to break in, and they struggle to get access to funding. And if they do, or when they do break in, they're not taken seriously, and have to work much harder and do more to gain recognition, and they experience challenges of actually, quite balancing the greater home responsibilities with their work commitments. So I would say it's still a difficult challenge that we need to work on and get right.
These difficult barriers, are they designed for women specifically? And what kind of barriers do women face on their entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, the vast economic gender or the vast economic cost of gender inequality, it has been recognized as a pressing global issue.
Okay.
Historically, men and women have performed quite contrasting, roles within society. While men were mostly involved in economic activities, women were mostly homebound, taking care of children, performing household duties. And in addition to this, women have often been restricted to little or no access to funding opportunities as compared to their male counterparts. So, when you look at female entrepreneurs, they still face quite great obstacles in comparison to their male counterparts. And in almost all spheres of the economy, the gender gap in the ownership of assets, it leads to difficulties in accessing business finance for female entrepreneurs. and there are challenges in securing access to the relevant skills, knowledge, markets, and, the network that they require in order for them to create sustainable enterprises. So it's quite vital to invest in women's increased participation in the business landscape, not only to drive economic recovery, but it's really important for us to do so because it will contribute to the societal and cultural advancement of our country.
Okay. You mentioned earlier on about most corporates and companies or the industry itself are mostly male-dominated. From your experience or from your view, what is the mindset of the male factor when it comes to female entrepreneurs? Because I understand that if they are the majority in the industry, no matter which industry we're talking about, but when a woman approaches them, whether it be for funding or for whatever, what is their mindset that would make them to create these unnecessary barriers to make it even more difficult for women than what it is as a normal entrepreneur? What is the male figure's mindset?
I think we need to make opportunities available. And we are slowly seeing, especially from, what we've seen as Black Umbrellas in terms of bridging the gap.
Yes.
We have seen quite a good, healthy presentation of women-owned businesses that are coming into the program.
Yes.
And are seeking developmental opportunities. So I think for us, what is really important is that I can't necessarily say what the thought processes of our male counterparts are, but I think we have to get to a point where we take notice and we drive change. And, and it means that in all elements and in all spheres, we need to be at the forefront of, putting females and female-owned businesses at the forefront of economic
participation,
if I should say it.
Yeah. But from your view and from where you are sitting, what kind of progress have been made to help women break these barriers?
Yeah, so maybe I can just touch on a particular program. That when you look at the Black Umbrellas incubation program,
yes,
we're not necessarily saying it must be male or female that are applying onto the program, but from the application process, we've seen about 41.9% of our applications to the Black Umbrellas virtual incubation program are from women. And yes, it might not necessarily be an equal footing, and it's not the majority of all applications. It's quite encouraging to see a growing number of women invested in developing their businesses, participating in the Black Umbrellas program. So I think, yes, the opportunities might be sparse, but the fact that we are equipping ourselves as women to, take ownership of our development and getting all these opportunities and maximizing them is really still quite important.
Wow. And then another thing, Thina, it's fair and square we identify, the challenges and the barriers for female entrepreneurs in their entrepreneurial journey. But does women also understand how important it is for women to unite and support each other, in their entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, I can't speak for all women, but I strongly believe that it is quite important that women support one another.
Yes.
And that's because not only can they relate to one another's struggles and form strong communities, but they can also be a powerful source of growth in each other's businesses. So that form of unity and support is really critical, especially when they go through this entrepreneurial journey.
Wow. Just to also give us a little bit of an understanding, Thina, we say Black Umbrella is an entity, not we say, you guys are saying Black Umbrella is an entity of the Cyril Ramaphosa Foundation. Can you just elaborate a little bit more on, how do the one add value to the other?
So Black Umbrellas is a partner entity to the Cyril Ramaphosa Foundation. And we are one of, let's say, 4 to 5, because we have a doctor school, a KSP, Cyril Ramaphosa Education Trust, and Black Umbrellas. But maybe to just bring it back, the Cyril Ramaphosa Foundation is an independent public benefit organization that was actually established about 18 years ago.
Okay.
And its inception in 2004, the foundation set a mandate to improve education and grow small to medium Black businesses. And that is actually done, as you're asking, through its partner entities that I just mentioned, the likes of a doctor school, KSP, Cyril Ramaphosa Education Trust, as well as Black Umbrellas. But also, recognizing the factors that impact on learning outcomes in the schools in which we work. The foundation then additionally undertook to support vulnerable women and children through a pilot program that is called CURRY.
Okay, wonderful. And then also, when it comes to the presidential golf day, I know that the Cyril Ramaphosa Foundation was the beneficiary. How does that work now? Is it just the Cyril Ramaphosa Foundation that is the beneficiary, or does it also, leap over to the Black Umbrella and some of the other entities?
Okay, so, this is the 3rd year of the foundation's nomination as a beneficiary of the Presidential Golf Challenge, and its proceeds will be applied through our partner entity, a doctor school, and that's actually been done in the previous years to implement, sanitation projects at designated schools. So the sanitation projects chosen with the funding received from the Presidential Golf Challenge, it actually entails the construction of ventilated, improved ablutions at 3 schools. And, our report of this, it graphically shows the difference made to the lives of the learners. And, we actually are calling more donors to support this project and actually bring health, safety, and dignity to more children. So we're always open to having more donors that would partner into, this really important initiative.
But lastly, Thina, what words of encouragement can you give to the female entrepreneurs out there?
I'd actually maybe like to share a message from our office assistant in the Johannesburg North Incubator. Okay. When we were looking at words of encouragement for female entrepreneurs for Women's Day, and she said, you may encourage many defeats, but must not be defeated. It may be necessary to encounter the defeat so that you can know who you are, what you can still rise from, and how you can still come out of it. Okay. So that is from Edith Kale.
Wow. Very good, Thina. No, I must say, Thina, from me personally, I have looked at the work that the Cyril Ramaphosa Foundation is doing, has been doing, continually doing. Black Umbrella has been there for quite some time, and you guys are doing an awesome work. And even the Educational Trust and the Doctor School and many other programs that you guys are having, you guys are just phenomenal. And I'm sure South Africa is quite proud and very encouraged. And I'm sure now with this discussion regarding female entrepreneurs, we keep on fighting the good fight. And thank you for doing awesome work for female entrepreneurs in the industry.
Thank you, Kurt. Thank you, Pat.
No, it's an absolute pleasure.
Wonderful. Again, thank you so much, Kurt, for having us on the show, and we really look forward to driving meaningful change.
No, absolutely a privilege having you, Thina. May you enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your weekend, and we will then chat to you guys soon again.
You too. Okay, all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Thina. Take care.
Okay then, bye.
Bye. That was Thina Hlophe. the Stakeholder Engagement Manager at Black Umbrella, a partner entity of the Cyril Ramaphosa Foundation. Thank you for listening to this segment of the show regarding Black Umbrella and the Cyril Ramaphosa Foundation. Stay tuned as we keep